Now, Central Oregon's local alert weather with Katie Suniga.
Here's a look at our viewer photo for today, sent to us actually today, of the sunset from last night. And we should see definitely some more sunsets like this tonight, maybe even to tomorrow night, as we're looking at the clouds just starting to roll back in along the Cascades before the evening's over. Here's what we're looking at tonight: a pretty clear sky all the way across the Cascades from this Pilot Butte camera. And this is something that should stay with us all the way into the evening into tomorrow before we really get a few clouds in the sky. Here's a look at the satellite and radar image. You can see that the clouds should begin to move in overnight just a little bit as the low pressure system is beginning to make its way south from Canada. I'll show you that movement here in just a moment. First, we're going to talk about temperatures. Here we're where we reached today. We made the highs almost everywhere from the valley over. Just made it into those high 80s in Portland, those mid to upper 60s along the coast, and then the 90s for the rest of the region. Not quite as hot as we were the other day when we made it to 100 in Medford and the Dalles and in Warm Springs, but pretty close up into those high 90s. Tomorrow we cool off quite a bit. We're looking at the mid to upper 70s here in Central Oregon, the low to mid 70s through the valley. Similar temperatures along the coast from today, those low 60s to upper 80s, or to upper 60s I should say, and then 87 in Medford, a little bit cooler, a little bit more than 10 degrees cooler than where we were today. Right now we are still on the warm side. We're going into our evening in the 90s here in Central Oregon, as well as in Pendleton, Baker City, Burns. Drop down into those high 80s in Lakeview, but we stay in the 90s through Klamath Falls and into Medford, still at 97. In Central Oregon, we're just in the 90s in Bend, Redmond, and Warm Springs, still the 80s for the rest of the region. And we do stay on the warmer side tonight. We're looking at temperatures in those upper 40s to mid 50s, which is still above average, nearly 10 degrees for this time of year. 57 potentially in Warm Springs and 56 potentially in Bend. Then tomorrow, when we warm up, we get to right at average, or usually about 80 degrees out of Robertsfield and Redmond this time of year. So we're looking at 73 in Sisters to those high 70s in Redmond, as well as in Warm Springs. Now here are the changes that I was telling you about with this low pressure system. It is going to start moving from where it is over into Canada by Saturday. We'll start to see this trough drop down just a little bit. As that continues to drop, ahead of that on Saturday into Sunday, we're going to see some pretty strong winds, and these winds are going to give us a fire weather watch in Madras, Redmond, Bend, and Sisters starting at 11 a.m. and going till about 10 p.m. Then we'll start to see some clouds in the region. You'll see along the Cascades once we get through the night on Saturday night into the early part of the evening. Here we are 10 o'clock, and some showers are starting to form along the Cascades. The chance for showers on Sunday is about a 60%. Monday is a 30%, and look at those temperatures, low 60s on Sunday. But by Tuesday, we begin to warm back up and we get closer to average on Wednesday.